Hello and a very warm welcome to this 1.1 session. My name is Els, and for those of you who join us for the first time, let me give you a little bit of a background. Several of us working for 1 Consulting are meditating on a regular basis. The meditation we practice is called Raja Yoga. It's the yoga of the mind. We find this very beneficial in the workplace, but also in our personal lives. It has created a beautiful atmosphere in the office. And what we do is we also pause regularly for some minutes of meditation and stillness. We started this oneness project way back in May 2020, and that was in the middle of the pandemic, the COVID time, lockdown, etc. And many people were going through a very stressful time. So one of our friends suggested that why not to share some of these thoughts and practices with a wider audience. And that was in fact the start of the project. What we have been doing so far is every Friday, it's every fortnight now, at 9 a.m. UK time, we have a session. We invite an experienced meditator and ask him or her to share their thoughts about a particular topic, but also to guide us into a short meditation. So far, we have had more than 100 guest speakers from around the world. All the sessions have been recorded and they are available on YouTube. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome Aruna Ladva, who joins us from Oxford in the UK. Aruna was born in Kenya. She was educated in England. She has lived in Canada or worked in Canada and lived on several other parts of the world. She started her spiritual journey at the age of 8 and has been practicing Raja Yoga meditation for more than 40 years now. Aruna has helped establishing meditation centers in Vancouver, Istanbul, Kuwait, and Bahrain. She is a certified negotiator in conflict resolution, and she has written several books. And let me just mention a few. It's Time for Relationships. It's Time for Change. It's Time for Self-Empowerment. It's Time for Cool, or It's Time to Be Cool. I've read several of these books and I find them very inspiring. They're really beautiful. In November 2014, Aruna received the Women of Excellence Award from the Yoga Federation in India for her contribution to social work. The topic for today is there a silver lining in adverse situations? So very warm welcome, Aruna, and over to you.
Thank you, Els, and thank you, 1 Point. Always a pleasure to be with all of you, and you're doing great work. And we are the recipients of that great work, so thank you so much. So the title today is something like Every Cloud Has a Silver Lining. Now let me begin with the story. So the story is that there was a king who cut his finger. And so his chief minister said to him, "Well, sir, there is benefit in everything." And the king thought this was quite insulting. And so what did he do? He put this chief minister in jail. Then the king was out and about, and the Aboriginals were looking for someone to sacrifice. So the Aboriginals caught hold of the king, and when they had a good look at him, they realized that he was not complete, that his finger was cut. And so they said, no, we don't need him. Let's go look for somebody else. And so they released the king. The king came back home and he asked his chief minister to come. Chief minister arrived at the court and the king thanked him. And he said, I'm so sorry for having put you in jail, but I just want to let you know that this is what happened. And he said, and it's a good job you are not with me, the king said to the chief minister, because if you were with me, they would have sacrificed you, means the chief minister. So you can see from one story how there really is benefit in everything that happens. And yes, many times we cannot tell what is going on, why it's happening. But at the same time, if we can just keep this nugget of information at the back of our mind and know that really what seems to be wrong may actually be right. And it's a matter of just cultivating this attitude, actually. In fact, even on this spiritual path that we practice, we say that, okay, right is right. Everything right is right. That's obvious. But actually, everything wrong is also right. Things that seem to us to be going wrong are actually also right. I'll give you a few other examples. So there's the person who got lost on the highway and thought they were lost, but then they end up asking for instructions, end up meeting the love of their life. Then there's somebody who got late for work because the car wouldn't start, and perhaps they escaped a car bomb. Perhaps somebody was waiting too long in the queue, and what happened to them? Again, they got saved from some fatal accident. So anytime you are stuck in traffic, anytime something is not going the way you want it to go, trust that something is in your favor. Trust that the universe is conspiring to protect you, to look after you, and not against you. And this really is an attitude that we need to cultivate. What every cloud has a silver lining also teaches us is that we need to stay hopeful. That sometimes something is happening now, but it shall pass. Always remember this line, even this shall pass. So if I'm suffering in this moment, again, it's very difficult, I know, when we're so caught up in that rut, in that suffering, that we cannot see beyond it. But again, if we can cultivate this attitude that really what's happening now, even this shall pass. And those of us who are a little aged will see that that's really the case. Nothing lasts forever. I've been in so many situations where sometimes I think, what, I'm going to have to keep doing that, or I'm going to have to keep tolerating this person or accommodating this person. But they change, or the situation changes, or I change, or I move on. And so nothing stays the same. And this is where we should really embrace the change. So the other side to that is, yes, if there are changes, then it's good. It's really good. Maybe I have, graduated from that test, from that lesson. And now I'm being moved to upper class. Upper class means school class. Maybe another lesson, maybe another type of learning needs to take place in the soul. So never resist change. Actually, the people who resist change are the ones who suffer. There's a saying, right? If you resist, then it persists. So if I'm continually resisting what the drama of life is teaching me, then only I will suffer. But if we can just learn to flow with what's happening, then we are easy, we are light, we are happy. And then that happiness is contagious and people want to work with us. Have you tried working with somebody who's too rigid? In fact, there's this story of, well, a real story in one place where there was a very rigid person and she was asked to give a little extra time beyond her time, means during her break, she was asked to help out. And there was such a strong reaction from her. She said, no, this is my break time. I'm not going to be flexible. And then she got fired. She was actually a hard worker. She was pleasant, a pleasant mannerisms, a kind person, many qualities. But then this other trait of being rigid, and the company said, no, sorry, you got to be flexible. So this is the point. If I can learn to accept, to embrace what's coming towards me, then yeah, I learn, I grow, I become more wholesome, but then also others are also wanting to learn from me, right? So yeah, don't resist, it will persist. And then the other thing that this silver lining teaches us is that no matter what feels difficult today, the attitude that I keep is that I have been prepared for this moment. I have been prepared for this moment. So you may think you haven't, like you may think, well, I didn't go to training school for this, but that's not what I mean. I mean that everything in life has happened to get you to this point. And so again, trust that you have the powers, you have the means, you have the qualities, you have the virtues in you to be able to face this thing that's coming in front of you. Because the thing is that, again, if I lose, and it's very slight, this feeling of confidence or lack of confidence, there's a very fine line between having confidence and not having confidence. So when I have this confidence that really, whatever comes my way, I can deal with it, I can handle it, then life is so much easier, life is smoother. Then I'm living life as a master and not as a slave. I always say that if anything out there takes away my happiness, then that thing has power over me. In other words, I am being run remotely by a remote. So if something is happening out there and there's a opposite mirroring effect, so they insult me, I get upset. They don't turn up on time, I get angry. Somebody doesn't give me love, I get upset. I mean, if there is this constant reactions to what is happening from out there, then I'm not empowered. I'm not a master. And then what am I? If I'm not a master, then I'm a slave. And nobody wants to be a slave, not in this day and age. So let's take charge of our thoughts. Let's take charge of our feelings. And as I said, let's create this very positive, powerful attitude. There's another story I'd like to share with you. And the story is good luck, bad luck, who knows? So the story is about someone. There's a story about a farmer. And what happened is that he has horses in his field. He has a boy, he has a son, but all his horses run away. For some reason, the gate is left open, his horses run away. And then the son, everybody says to him, good luck. Everybody says to him, bad luck. And so he says, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Then what happens is that all those few horses that had run away, they bring back a whole herd of other horses because they go in a herd together, right? So they bring back lots of other horses and everybody says, oh, good luck, like you're so lucky. And again, his attitude, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Then his son is training these horses. And as he's training them, he falls off and breaks his leg. Again, everybody comes from the village and says, oh, poor you, poor boy, such bad luck. And this guy, his attitude, yeah, can you get the fragrance of his attitude? I mean, I love this story because I'd love to, and I'm practicing to just have this attitude. Good luck, bad luck, who knows? And then the king's army comes looking for able men to fight in the war. And he's broken his leg, so he cannot go to war. So again, everybody comes and says, oh, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. And so this is the point, isn't it? That we don't know why something is happening. But yet, we just have to trust. You know, when we had, well, it was a long time ago, but I'm sure there's many other incidents like that. But when we had the 9/11, when we had those Twin Tower attacks, so many people were saved. And again, the same story. Some were late, some were in a queue, different reasons why they didn't get to work. But then they were saved. So one of the things that we can cultivate with this theory is really, let's learn to accept everything as it is. Let's try to keep our emotions in check so we're not too hyper and we're not too depressed about what is going on. If we can somehow keep our emotions in a straight line, that's not to say we don't get excited. We get excited, we enjoy, but not over excited and not under excited. In other words, not disappointed, not too disappointed, where it really affects your health. So yeah, trust, appreciate, accept, embrace the challenges that come your way. And yeah, just cultivate this attitude that I know, I'm confident I'll be able to address what comes my way. And so my final point is, why would we accept a theory like this? And that's because I realize that I want to stay happy. We have to adopt any theory that works for us, because at the end of the day, my inner treasures of peace and happiness and power are what's most valuable to me. And so not to allow anyone or anything to take that away from me. So perhaps we can have a little experimentation in this area. And I'd like to share a few thoughts in the meditation where I will show you what are the kinds of statements that I use to practice, so that then when I'm in life, I can also apply those. And they're also actually happening on a subconscious level. Because as I said to you, it's about cultivating an attitude. We literally have to make an attitudinal shift. It's not just enough changing one thought at a time. If we have a certain number of thoughts, that changes our attitude. Our attitude then changes our perception. Our perception then changes the way that I see life and therefore how I perceive life. Right? So as I said, it's not a conspiracy against you, it's a conspiracy for you. So let's begin a thought at a time, and yeah, let's see how we go. So just sit comfortably. And as you see, I'm just focusing on a point, and you can do the same wherever you are. Just try to sit still, take a deep breath. So firstly, I'd like you to observe, just in your mind's eye, all the different dramas that are going on in your life. And maybe some are good, some are not so favorable. But I'd like you to just distance from them for a few moments, as though that is not your drama, that is somebody else's drama. So I'd like you to imagine you are sitting in a theater hall in the audience, and you're just observing what's going on the stage of your life. So you can visualize the scene at home, you can visualize the scene at work, visualize the scene with your friends and family, perhaps with your parents if they live separately. Just observe what's going on, the dynamic that's going on. And then you say to yourself, okay, if I choose to engage in this drama, then I will engage in it as a master. As a master of my thoughts, my feelings, and I take total responsibility for my feelings. So I'd like you to take one of those scenes and now, again in your mind, just step into that scene. And how will you behave now? As a master who is totally responsible for his or her feelings. Not to blame, not to take sorrow, but just accepting things as they are. And now I'd like you to imagine that you're just sitting in a very quiet place in your mind's eye. So I'd like you to choose, maybe you're looking at mountains, looking at a calm lake, or maybe by the ocean. Just visualize in your mind's eye where you're sitting. But choose a nice, comforting place. Then I'd like you to repeat in your mind some of the statements that I will share. And I'd like you to say them with conviction. I have the power to deal with whatever comes my way. I have been prepared for this moment. I'm feeling full, abundant, and powerful. There is deep meaning and significance to everything that's happening in my life. I am blessed. I'm strong. I'm seated on my throne of self-respect. And even though I cannot see the full picture, I trust. I choose to hold on to my peace and happiness, no matter what. So just stay in these feelings for a few moments and just tap into the general feeling. This is the moment in which we have overpowered life, where life is not just happening to us, but we are creating the life that we choose. Thank you.
Thank you, Aruna. This was a very beautiful session, and I heard that story of the king before, so it was nice to hear it again. But what I actually have written down for myself is what I think is very powerful is when you explained that the universe will protect you, the universe is not against you. And I think that is a very important awareness or thought, because so often we feel that if things go wrong, we get feeling depressed or hopeless. But that idea of good luck, bad luck, who knows? I think that's really very powerful. So thank you so much. And also another thing that I think was important, that if anyone or anything takes away my happiness, in a way, I'm actually giving my power away. So that is a very important understanding, to just make sure that I stay in that inner peace and inner happiness. So thank you, Aruna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Everyone listening, I hope you have enjoyed the session. Thanks to the technical team. And just to announce that the next session will be on Friday, 26th of May. We will have Ash Patel joining us for that session from the UK. So very, very warm welcome. And again, a reminder that all the sessions are available on YouTube in case you want to listen to them again. Okay, bye-bye. Have a nice day.